Before we close, I wanted to talk about another issue close to your heart, and that is Indigenous reconciliation, something that you've long supported going back to your time in the resource sector, as you lay out in the book. Now, obviously, we've come some ways since then. Where do you think we need to go next in achieving true reconciliation?
True reconciliation is a state that we aspire to for First Nations and other uh, minorities that are aggrieved in our society. Uh, it's the top of Mount Everest, and we're not going to get there, but we'll get up the mountain quite a distance. The problem that's emerging more and more is the reaction of the non-First Nation society, the so-called. There are a lot of people beginning to resent some of the evidences of reconciliation. For example, the custom that has appeared in the last decade of mentioning the unceded lands at every meeting. I've had people call me and say, "That's enough. That's enough. We get it. Don't push it." The fact that some strategically owned urban lands that are recognized as belonging to First Nation communities are going to have a very high profile, physical high profile, and be seen as big money makers. The general population isn't used to the idea of a First Nation person being amongst the wealthiest in our community. Just as a couple of generations ago, they weren't used to seeing Chinese people being significant investors and entrepreneurs in our community. So these societal changes are taking place. There are lots of stresses that we are going to have to deal with as these changes move forward. But I want to say, and this is important to me, that Canada, unrecognized by most people, is the most successful, diverse society in the world. We have managed the governance of diverse peoples from all over the world in a successful democratic system, a system where everyone has the opportunity, not necessarily everyone has equal opportunity, but more and more have economic opportunity, and more are earning social status in our society, people who come from a lot of backgrounds. So we should be proud of what we have accomplished so far as a diverse society. I'm quite proud, and I make it clear to people outside Canada that we are a model for the way they should govern themselves as well.
And finally, Jack, what do you hope readers get out of your book?
I hope they realize by reading the book that we are a true democracy, that people can come from anywhere in the social and economic profile and rise according to their efforts, their talents, and a little bit of luck, because luck plays a role. The strange dice throw of luck sometimes is amazing. But we are a society of opportunity. We're a society of encouragement. We're doing our best to look after people who have difficulty in society. I hope they realize that there is a balance between an individual's rights and an individual's responsibilities. And I say in the book that I would very much like to see Canada start a process of examining the responsibilities of individuals, a charter of responsibilities, and not to get there, not to get a charter in any hurry. I'm not. That's an objective that will take decades, 2, 3, 4 decades, while society works out its relationship, it's their relationship to one another. Unfortunately, what I see is a tendency in some political ideas in Canada, picked up from American politics, where the pursuit of power is anything that gets me power. No responsibility for the costs of that campaign, no responsibility for the results to society of that campaign, not playing a political role to build a country, but just to build your own power in that country. And that's what we see. Trumpism in the United States is all about an individual and his ego and his value systems, which a lot of people share. I saw an interview with a wealthy Texan who said, "My responsibility to society is to look after my family, make sure they're educated, they're fed. That's it." And I was shocked that somebody could say that and believe it when they're surrounded by the roads, the electrical system, the hospitals that are all collective investments in society. They didn't do anything by themselves. They did a little bit to elevate themselves, but society gave them the platform to do it. So finally, we need more civic education in our schools, more education about governance and what it's about and how to achieve it. Thank you very much, John.
The name of the book is Unlikely Insider, a West Coast advocate in Ottawa. It's available from McGill Queen's University Press. Thanks to author Jack Austin.